Texas legislative season starts in less than a week, and for the first time in history, the Golden Triangle will have a voice in leadership. Our state representative Dade Phelan is on tap to become the next Speaker of the Texas House of Representatives for the 87th session. KFDM's Angel San Juan visited with the incoming Speaker this week about his agenda for Southeast Texas and the rest of the Lone Star State. Angel?
Soon-to-be Speaker Dade Phelan is a Republican, but the 45-year-old achieved this milestone with strong bipartisan support from his colleagues, and that should prove very helpful because Phelan's promotion comes at a time when he'll have to navigate us all through the challenges of COVID. Taking a COVID rapid response test was the first order of business when Chief Photographer Justin DeYoung and I arrived for our interview with State Representative Dade Phelan in his Beaumont office. Fortunately, results were negative. It's a sign of the times and what Phelan says will dominate the upcoming legislative session, which starts Tuesday in Austin.
COVID will obviously, it will be a blanket over the entire session. We will deal with it in every aspect of policy. It'll be a huge determining factor in the budget. You know, we were supposed to go into this cycle with a budget surplus, and now we're coming into it with a deficit in the current budget that we've written. And of course, we're going to have much less resources to craft the next 2 years budget. And a lot of that is because of COVID and what it did to our economy. So number one goal is to get the economy back on track.
The legislative session will start as the number of cases in Texas are higher than ever before.
What we're seeing is the spread is not at the small businesses, it's not at the restaurant, it's in the backyard. It is celebrations, folks getting together who hadn't seen each other in months, and that's where we're seeing the sharp rise in positive cases.
Phelan says that's why the vaccine is crucial.
Operation Warp Speed, I wish it was quicker, obviously, and here, us in Texas, we're frustrated. We would like to have as many vaccines available as possible. We're moving into A2, Group A2, which are the nursing home patients and those at the assisted living facilities. So as the vaccine gets out and the public becomes more confident in their safety, then the quicker we get back to normal.
Phelan's goal to keep the public safe without jeopardizing the state's small business owners.
Well, a lot of it comes down to personal responsibility, and that's what I was saying back in April and May, is that, you know, if it's okay to go buy a tomato plant at Walmart, then it's okay to get a tomato plant at our local nursery. You have to use your own personal discretion and your own personal safety and decide what you're comfortable with and what you're not comfortable with.
But as the incoming Speaker of the State House, it's also a priority for Phelan to keep his colleagues and those visiting the Texas Capitol healthy, so the business of governing doesn't shut down in these crucial times.
There's going to be testing just like you just took today. There will be testing that's optional, that if you want to take it before you come into the building, each individual member can decide how they want to operate within their office themselves. We're going to ask you to wear a mask while you're in the common areas of the Capitol, and the DPS will keep an eye on how many people are in the building to make certain that we can have that social distancing that we know works.
COVID has also had a huge detrimental impact on public schools, having to spend millions on virtual learning and on safety measures. Phelan says their needs will be met.
We in the House have committed to funding schools throughout this session, throughout this budget cycle. We're not going to cut back on them because of their average daily attendance was down because children were distance learning or not learning at all. You know, I've got 4 children. I know the challenges it is for distance learning. It does have its limits.
The 45-year-old Beaumont native has served in the House since 2015. He became the chair of the powerful House State Affairs Committee, and now he's rising in rank again to Speaker of the House. The top 3 leaders in Texas are the governor, the lieutenant governor, and speaker.
I'm honored and I'm humbled that my colleagues would, give me this huge task, and it's always been difficult to be speaker. It's never an easy job, but going to this session in the 87th, given the budget deficit, redistricting, and the fact that we have the first pandemic in 102 years in which to operate, I'm exceptionally proud that they've given me this honor.
Phelan, the first Golden Triangle politician to hold such a high leadership spot in Texas. The closest before him, Price Daniel from Dayton in neighboring Liberty County. He was the Speaker of the House in 1943 and later would be elected the 38th governor of Texas.
I think it's great for this area. It's our turn, I guess, but it also means that we're going to have the opportunity to make certain that as the economy recovers and as we go through public education and as we go through public safety and healthcare, that Southeast Texas needs are going to be met.
In these divisive times in our nation, Phelan is about to become Speaker with support from both Republican and Democratic House members. But Phelan says bipartisanship has a long legacy in the Lone Star State. For example, when Republican George W. Bush was Texas governor, he forged a working relationship and friendship with Democratic Lieutenant Governor Bob Bullock.
That is the Texas model. We've always worked that way. If you're in the speaker's dais and you're looking at all the chairs in the House chamber, there is no left side or right side, red, blue, like there is in Washington, D.C. We all sit amongst each other. Our offices are next to each other. We're friends. Not everything we do up there is Republican versus Democrat. It's not always conservative versus liberal. Vast majority of the time, it's going to be rural versus urban. It's going to be who has water and who doesn't have water. I mean, issues like that are really some of the most divisive ones that we face in Austin. So when you build those coalitions and you're able to break down those barriers and build that trust factor with members that may not agree with you politically, it goes a long way as far as getting their support.
The House will officially elect Dade Phelan Speaker on the first day of the legislative session. Once again, that's next Tuesday, January 12th. Phelan will be sworn in that very same day. Tiffany.
Thanks, Angel.